Hello and welcome to another television review from MBE.
Stephen, I think you're
Tonight
froze.
we are going to be talking about. I'll just check that, John. Yes, it looks like a froze. Good start. Good start. I think we've got a bad connection here
Yes.
once again, like we did on Monday. So I think we'll just have to put a little title screen up just now.
Yes, I'll just
try
bring
and
it back.
work.
We'll do the start again. We'll just restart the whole thing. Screw it.
Hello and welcome to another television review from MBE. Take two. Today, whenever it may be, we are going to be discussing episode 6 of Wandavision. John, I actually do not know what the title of this episode is called.
I had it up and I've completely
Yeah.
blanked on it. I'm so far over. What is going on here, man? What is going on with this show?
I'm going to be on a knife's edge for this whole show, I think, with this connection that's coming from my end, John. But
No idea what's going on.
Worst comes to worst, you might have to carry the show.
Woofed.
Woofed. In the words of Arch McPherson. But well, I'm going to hand it over to you anyway, John. We'll get things moving along very quickly here, and you can guide us through this review experience.
Yes, Stephen, and it will be an experience. Stephen, I have to say, this again has just elevated the bar for this TV show. Once more, it's by far my favourite episode. It seems to be a weekly thing where my new favourite episode is the next one. And it really starts off with a bang. We get another cool little introduction. It's the kid, one of the twins. I don't know which one it is. In a sense, introducing himself, breaking the fourth wall in the style of those classic TV shows. They look right into the camera and it gives a little walkthrough of what's happening and what's not happening. We've got a little comment here from T3 Media. Stephen hates my favourite accents on YouTube. How are you guys? The layout's looking good. The camera and the actual connection, we're having a bit of an issue with that tonight. Stephen is a little bit blockier than usual, but we're doing good. Yes, really enjoying this experience of watching WandaVision, the first Marvel TV show. And if this is the beginning, and this is them working out some little teething issues, what is this going to be like in a year's time when we start having a hit of more and more content, like the likes of Loki coming out and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It's really
John,
promising signs, Stephen.
And what I've been really enjoying about the experience so far, we're halfway through, well, more than halfway through this series, is before I go and watch the episode, social media is always buzzing for episode whatever it is, and WandaVision's always trending.
Yep.
And one of the chaps that we do follow is Robert Meyer Burnett, one of the big hitters on YouTube, a very decent guy. He just said, in regards to WandaVision on Twitter earlier today before I watched the episode, this shit's getting real.
It is.
And it is getting real.
Stephen, it's getting so real that, and I'm going to ask you this later on, but where are the Avengers? Where are the Avengers?
Yeah.
This is an Avengers problem now. This isn't a sword problem. This isn't FBI. The only people who can control this now are the Avengers. Stephen
Doctor
Strange, Doctor Strange, Thor. People on that level are the only people who can come in and deal with this problem. It's getting that bad now. Stephen, I think she's going to take over the whole of the United States at this rate. The way that hexagon sort of energy field is expanding out, it's not slowing down. I think this could be an Avengers level event, as we do have from T3 Medias in the comments. It is an Avengers level event, it really is. The opening based on Malcolm in the Middle, I see that. It's like that classic sort of vibe from 30 years ago, where they're staring down the camera and they're giving you a blow-by-blow account of what's happening in this household. And of course Pietro is acquiesced into the household, Stephen. Or is it Pietro? We'll get into him later as well.
Yeah.
That ain't Pietro. That's
something not right.
Stephen, there's a cracking theory and I think it's absolutely nailed on. Everyone's speaking about Mephisto.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's someone else, and it connects beautifully into a project which Elizabeth Olsen is going to be starring in as well. But Stephen, what did you make about the twins at the Halloween setting? The twins are playing with their uncle. Is he a vampire? Why are you scared of him? The Pietro jumps up and he's scaring them. What did you make about that? I again, consistently hitting it out the park with these intros. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I wasn't aware it was Malcolm in the Middle, John, but that makes perfect sense. It gives you the sort of idea of the time period as well. I wasn't sure if it was maybe late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
The other thing as well, which made me think, and I've been thinking about it as the weeks have been going on, is they're picking that time period of classic sitcoms. Now, you get into the sort of mid to late 2000s, and you're going that sort of Office sort of style sitcom, fly in the wall sort of mockumentary. I would love to see the people in Wandavision doing a sketch, like an Office sketch, where you get the camera zooming in on Vision, who's sitting there like Tim would, Tim Canterbury, and just giving one of those stares at the camera, in an awkward moment. But
I don't know if that's going to happen now, Stephen. I think I think the immersion's well and truly broken with Vision now. I think Vision's done playing around. When you're nearly breaking apart and dying outside of this force field, I don't think there's any going back. But again, is that really Vision? There's so many questions asked in this episode. What the hell is going on? They ain't answered. They will be answered in the next episode. I believe they'll do that next episode. They will. They absolutely will.
Yeah.
And I agree. I used to think that Pietro was a sword agent as well. I don't think so now. I don't think this guy's got... I used to think Agnes had connections to sword as well, Stephen. But I've not got a clue what's going on with that character. We'll get into that too. Stephen Hayward, director Hayward, this shithead sort of executive from Sword. The guy's so unlikable. I've said in my guideline, I can't repeat what I've said, but needless to say...
You can if you want.
Oh, I can't. Well, yeah, I will. You know what? He's still a dick. This guy is a dick. Plain and simple. He's so unlikable. He hates the superheroes. He has a dig at Captain Marvel. Some people will love that. He has a dig at Monica Rambeau, or Rambo. I keep screwing that name up. He chases them out, Stephen. Monica, Darcy and Moo are chased out, and he uses a snap. And obviously Monica being snapped out of existence for 5 years is an excuse to kick her out. She's out of sync. She's not fit for this job. I've just said he's got rampant Bob Aggery, as we like to see over here. He's a terrible, terrible guy. And I'm sure as things expand out in these next 3 episodes, we'll find that he's the lesser of two evils when it comes to villains, I'm sure. But this guy is showing himself to be more and more of a villain as the episodes move on. He's one of those deeply unlikable figures. What do you make about Hayward and him sort of banishing these 3 figures? Of course, it doesn't really make any difference. They come back in and they do some shit anyway later on in the episode, but
that doesn't make a blind bit of difference, John, and it was expected. You knew the shit was going to hit the fan with both parties, from the Monica, Darcy and Wu side, and obviously the Sword side as well. And you're right, this the sort of scary thing about this director Hayward is that he doesn't fully understand the ramifications of what he's doing. I thought he would have maybe learnt his lesson last week when Wanda actually stepped out of her comfort zone and confronted him and turned all his own guards' guns pointing on him. I thought he'd have got the message then, but it seems to be an arrogance about this guy, a blind arrogance, and he's going to get his comeuppance. He's definitely going to get his comeuppance. When you saw what Wanda did at the end of this episode, expanding that town out that little bit further, she is one powerful character, I'm telling you. I knew this anyway. Yeah, he's rubbed her up the wrong way. But we knew how powerful she was. I mean, you saw she was about to take out Thanos in Endgame. I don't care what
she was.
I don't care what that discussion they had last week. Well, I heard Captain Marvel with a better chance. Rubbish. Scarlet Witch was seconds away from crushing him with his own armor.
Thanos had to call
seconds.
He had to call the turrets and sacrifice his own soldiers, forces. He had to rain those turrets down to save himself. She was very close. Stephen T. Free Medias, they think that he'll end up sacrificing himself at the end. I don't think so. I think this guy's just a shithead. I think he's incredibly selfish. I think he'll just end up dying a coward's death, and I sincerely hope he does. Maybe he won't die at all. Maybe he'll be a new figure to hate, in the expanded MCU. We know these TV shows are all going to be interconnecting, the likes of She-Hulk and Miss Marvel and stuff. Maybe he's going to be a lower level bitch, if you like, for lack of a better word, that's going to be ever present throughout this universe. Stephen, the advert. Now, we've had some great commercials, adverts in this TV show. Some calling to watches. You've got sort of Hydra technology, the toaster. They've been subtle, very subtle. This advert, this commercial, whatever you want to call it, I think this is the most revealing and unsubtle commercial to date. I think this is giving the entire game away. It's I'll feed on your magic. This little thing shrivels away to nothing. It shrivels away to a skeleton. I think this is them openly telling us what this entire TV show is about. That Wanda is controlling things, but something is almost parasitically leeching off of her magic. And I think that thing, and we'll get into it later, is a certain villain who will be appearing. It could be multiple villains. We don't know for sure what's going on. What did you make about that commercial? It was coolly shot. It was a nice little composition. And again, it's just neatly, sort of, I don't know, organically weaved into this story, into this episode. You don't even blink now watching them.
John,
you're taken out of this TV show and you're right into a commercial. You're like, right, this is the next commercial. What did you make about it, Stephen?
It's one of those moments you look forward to. Not me, I look forward to an advert or a commercial, you know, when you're watching a television show.
What was the one last week?
But,
was it the Hoover?
It was, yeah. And the week before it was the bath thing, the relax thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I look forward to them every week because I know they're going to be updated. They're going to be with the time period as well. So it was very interesting to see what they're going to do here. It looked like the style of it was very much like an advert you'd seen MTV in the early 2000s. But it was disturbing. The other ones have been disturbing in a creepy way, but this one was actually horrific. I felt I was like, oh, jeez, that's a bit much for an advert. It's supposed to be an advert at the end of the day, you know, and the hidden messages are supposed to be in there if you're, you know, up with the sort of arc of Wanda and Vision. But this was more on the nose. This one I felt, you know, it was very, there was no subtleties about it, you know, and I think you're right. I think this is, the message is always there anyway, John, but this was more an obvious message to what we'll always discuss later on in the show.
And it could be hinting that there is many architects within this alternate universe, that Wanda has control over certain aspects, that perhaps there is another secretive phantom menace, if you like, controlling and maybe just nudging Wanda to do things. And I think that's hinted at. I'll feed on your magic. I mean, you can't get any more obvious than that. It's feeding on her magic. She's a magical creature. We've got another comment. There's like, here's a dark theory. What if Monica, from the Hex radiation and get cancer, and leading into Captain Marvel 2, she's giving powers to save her life, not to die like her mother did. I think they're hinting at it, because of course there is that moment she's changing her genetics every time she goes in. On a cellular level, she's being changed. That'd be very interesting. There was hints that could be them opening the door to mutants. We could see her changing her very cellular fabric, if you like. And that, in tandem with being around Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, that may make her a mutant. We're going to see that storyline, Stephen, in Thor: Love and Thunder with Jane.
John, you
she has cancer.
Actually mentioned something earlier in the show as well about Wanda's, the sort of zone she's covering just now. This is something that could possibly affect the whole of the United States. What if that was the beginning of the mutants? You know, have that had an effect over a whole country, you know, where...
Well, Stain, it doesn't stop moving.
Humans, well, that's exactly...
I don't see that Hex force field stop moving. It continues to move, even into the end of the episode. So, man, this thing could cover the entire country. And it could be a way to open up the X-Men, the mutants, whatever you want to call them. And it could lead us right into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. The madness is created by Wanda and this other force, perhaps. I'd love that, I have to say. But I think that advert was very, very revealing, very interesting. Probably the most interesting one to date. Stephen, Pietro. We'll get into Pietro, though. What did you make about Pietro in this episode? The guy is strange. We know he's recast. We see a shot of Aaron Taylor-Johnson at one point. Not Evan Peters.
No.
He's very strange in it. I think I'm convinced more than ever now that he is a phony. He's an imposter. I've says here, is he a Hayward plant? Is he a sword operative? He's clearly not the real Quicksilver. Or is he a manifestation of some other evil
I think
presence.
that. Yep.
Well,
I think it's more sinister than an agency, John. I think it's evil forces working their way. She did not will him into that town. You saw that from her reaction last week when she answered the door, and she wasn't entirely 100% sure that was Pietro. No. She actually asked the question, Pietro? The way she said it was, are you? She didn't say it literally, are you Pietro? She just went, Pietro? As if, And then, even then, throughout this episode, she was questioning him. And she was trying to trick him. He's on to her, when it's the memory thing. Because very much like Vision, he doesn't know too much outside of what's been created recently. And Vision is very much under that sort of jurisdiction, if you like, with his own sort of presence at the moment. But he's started to latch onto it. Pietro, on the other hand, there's something not right about his character. His accent, he questioned Wanda's accent as well. But there was times when he was coming off like the Fonz to me. There was times when he's coming off just, I don't know. I think it's probably because we are used to Evan Peters playing Quicksilver a certain way. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we're just not used to it and we don't like it. I don't like this version of him at all. No. I like his version from the X-Men films more than I did the Aaron Taylor Johnson one. But there's something not right. But I think you're on to something there, John. I think there is something sinister working in the background. I don't think this has got anything to do with Sword.
No, Stephen, there's a great theory that he could be Nightmare. I'll come right out and say it. Nightmare is confirmed to be the villain in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It even looks like Nightmare, Stephen. I looked up photos of Nightmare. The way he slicked the hair back, that's like Nightmare. The way he takes on that dead form. And of course, Vision takes on that dead form. We know Vision's a corpse, but as we see when he stepped out of the force field, he certainly doesn't look like a corpse. He's just been taken apart. I think this Nightmare character may be projecting images onto Wanda, may be manipulating her, and being a puppet master sort of figure within this.
In the case of Vision, though, it's understandable the way that he was deteriorating at the end of the episode, because we got the clues that Wanda had actually gone to the compound and took his remains. And I think that's what was happening. I think it was breaking down back to his remains before she got that force field back over him again in time.
Steve, we get another comment. Obviously, she asks Pietro, what happened to your accent? And T3 Media is right to say, what the hell happened to hers? She has not got that Sokovian accent. You hear it subtly when she comes out in one episode. Yeah. But she's butchered her accent too, and of course Pietro's not Pietro, he's Nightmare, I'm absolutely certain of it. So he's a phony, he's a shyster, and he's for the watching, I tell you. I loved it when she destroyed him, when he says, what's up? It's not as if you can save your dead husband twice. The way she dealt with him, that was amazing.
That's when you knew it wasn't him.
Yep, exactly. Stephen, the kick-ass reference too. The kick-ass reference. John. Was that not Aaron Taylor Johnson?
John, it's always something that's really... I've always got a kick out of the fact that Evan Peters and Aaron Taylor Johnson have played the same character in two versions of the same character, and both of them were.
It was one both of them. Pal.
Yeah, Todd. It's just something about it. Was it Todd? I can't remember if he was Todd or the other wee guy was called Todd.
I think the little fat guy with the
Marty, he was called, wasn't it? So Evan Peters was Todd. But it's great, and there was this shot, I was looking through, it was trending on Twitter, as I said, and there was this shot of Aaron Taylor Johnson and Evan Peters together during Kick-Ass, and how young they look. I can't believe it's been over 11 years since obviously Kick-Ass, came to our screens, and Evan Peters for me is a great actor. Aaron Taylor Johnson's a fantastic actor though. He's a better actor than Evan Peters, but there's something likeable about Evan Peters that I like. I liked him in American Horror Story as well. He was very good in that. And when he was cast for obviously the Quicksilver role for Days of Future Past, it was one of his standout performances.
Incredible scene, Stephen. One of the great cinematic moments. Watching that in a theatre, it was incredible. I tell you what, Aaron Taylor Johnson's definitely aged better of the two though. That guy's just get better and better, man, with age. He played John Lennon. Evan Peters, he's aged all right as well, but he's aged a little bit worse than Aaron Taylor Johnson. But look, I agree with you, man. Both great actors and both very different interpretations on the character. Some would say Aaron Taylor Johnson's was the inferior. Some would disagree, though. There's people out there, I'm sure, who think that Quicksilver from the MCU was better. I think they're crackheads, but that's for another day. Stephen, I've got multiple things in here. We spoke about the conversation. It was weird as hell. She's probing him. He's not giving her answers, and then it's strange. He's wrong. I think he's nightmare, but we'll find out as this TV show merrily winds up to its end in a couple of weeks' time. Stephen,
this is conversation, isn't it? Wanda and Pietro have where she's basically saying she's lost everything, and when you've lost everything, what is there to live for? It's that, I'm paraphrasing, but it was that conversation, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was at. She was at.
There's something. She was you can see she was trying to her guard kind of slipped for a little minute, and letting Pietro in. That's where she's got to be very careful with this character, because she's not really known him a long time.
No.
And she's obviously got her reservations about him as well. But just for that brief moment, I felt she let her guard down. She was opening up very much like she did with Monica in the previous, I think it was episode 3, where she dealt with, obviously, Monica. There's just something off about it. But I did really feel sorry for it. It was a very emotional moment, I felt.
Stephen, he's getting knowing as well of what's going on within this strange multiverse. Because he says to her there's no kids and stuff like that. He knows what's going on. And again, like Agnes, there's something not right. But we'll find out, I'm sure. Speaking of Agnes, Stephen, I'll get into her in a moment, actually. We'll speak about Monica, because there's a little throwaway line in here, and it continues multiple episodes now. Monica's been speaking about her aerospace engineer friend who will help her get back into this, through this force field. Who the hell is this friend? It's not really been resolved yet. There's lots of rumours it could be Hank Pym.
It could be one of the Fantastic Four.
That's it. Stephen, there's lots of
aerospace engineer. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it'd be a good way of getting them in, I suppose. It'd be a great way to plant those seeds for the Fantastic Four, because they are coming into it eventually. I think Hank Pym would be great. It'd be great fan service to see Michael Douglas once again. But I think for serving the storyline, I would probably like to see maybe, is it Reed Richards? I think his name is.
Reed Richards, yeah.
I think possibly maybe him.
Steve, it could be. That's a great shout, and I'd love to see that.
John Krasinski.
John Krasinski. We all want John Krasinski, don't we? Let's be honest, we want that guy.
John, this could be the moment that Elizabeth Olsen's talking about. This could be the Luke Skywalker moment of The Mandalorian. It could be John Krasinski. Maybe we're hoping too much for fan service, and we want a Magneto, we want a Charles Xavier, but it might be something we've not thought of.
Stephen,
something that's just as big.
Is whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be absolutely amazing. I'm absolutely certain of it. And I'm sure they'll get the balance right in terms of storytelling and how it's going to impact the greater MCU universe. But Stephen, there's a lot of crazy shit going on in this episode. Of course, we've got sterile vehicles style corpse shots. I briefly touched upon it before, but we've seen obviously corpse vision. That was very alarming, because I love Paul Bettany, so it's strange seeing that character like that, and it took you aback. We also get corpse Pietro, and that was strange as well. What is your thoughts on this? Elements of horror creeping into this, because it almost is like a horror show. Vision's life being played like a puppet. This guy has no sort of awareness of what the hell happened outside of this period she's created, this universe. It's a horror show in elements when he's walking around later on in this town, and these people are all frozen. Is that something you like to see, them bringing some subtle little horror elements into this TV show, this episode? Because I always like to see Marvel dabbling with different genres. We've seen it obviously in the Fox side of things. Logan was a western. We've seen it with Taika. He balances comedy so well with emotive moments. I like to see this. I like to see them dabbling with these little subgenres. Is that something you enjoy as well?
Yeah, John, I think it was handled quite delicately in this episode as well. It was very subtle. It wasn't any jump scares or out-and-out horror or anything like that, but disturbingly. That the lady, I think she was putting something in the washing line. She kept repeating the same thing, but then the tear came down her eye. That's when you notice that they're all aware of their sort of
they're trapped.
They're trapped. That's the saddest part about it. And I think that's why the tears going down her face. And I think there's a horror sort of angle there, that these people are aware that they're trapped and they're in pain. And how long is this going to last?
Well, as long as Wanda wants it to last, and perhaps Nightmare in the background. T3 says not Reed Richards. They don't want him in there. Time will tell. We've got another comment asking us to review Biggle, Stephen. We actually reacted to that. I'm going to get that trailer out. I like the look of that with the great telepathy VJ in there again. Yeah. Stephen, horror elements. I did speak about horror elements and Vision's little walk behind the camera. I say behind the camera because this is a TV show environment created by Wanda and Lord knows what else. Everything that's happening off of shot is not natural. These characters are not living natural lives. As you did say, they're stuck in loops. I thought that was freaky as hell when Vision was walking about and he's spotting things are not quite right. Obviously, the moment he spots Agnes, the way he floats up to it, it's just magnificent the way that character levitates. When he goes down and sees Agnes in the car, that was a creepy scene. Although I think you didn't quite like an aspect about it, the way it was portrayed in the actual trailer. But
I thought in the trailer it was disturbingly.
She was laughing at him being dead.
Unsettling, and it wasn't. It was a misdirection. You know, they've used segments of that scene to create that sort of illusion. I'm not saying I'm disappointed. I would have liked to have that kept it up, but it probably isn't fair on the Agnes character if she's not that way inclined. We thought that perhaps maybe she was a witch of some sort. She might still be, but
there's something not right.
I felt the scene was sad in a way. You know, that she'd lived there all her life, as Vision said, but she didn't know where she was going. She was lost.
I'm not buying that.
No, something. You know, it's the fact that Vision can get in and actually switch them off a brief moment, and they can actually sort of outpour, you know, what they're feeling and stuff like that, and what's in their heads, you know. And it was a good scene, you know, and I think she's a great character, but there is something not right with her.
Well, Stephen, he was speaking to other characters and they weren't acknowledging him, his presence. He speaks to her, she acknowledges him right away. So she was different. I'm not buying the touch. I think she sold it well. She's in the opening crawl. She's in the actual little intro. Her name's there, Monica. She's not part of the actual family unit. There's something going on with this character. I don't know what she is. She's weird as hell. I'm not saying she's a villain. She might not be a villain, but she's different. She's unique compared to these other goon characters that are in this world. Herb as well, the other neighbour. The interaction between Wanda and him in the street. Would you like me to change things for you? Or change anything? He's getting awareness as well. There's something, his interaction with Vision in a previous episode. He was ready to spill the beans. There's something different about those two characters. They seem to be in on it on some level. I don't know if they are witches. I don't know what they are to Wanda. I know there's precedent for witches in the actual comics. I don't know what they could be, but there's something weird as hell going on. I think the actual Agnes character in the comics had a link to Mephisto. I think she was his wife or something. He's the devil of the MCU. The shards of his soul are linked to the two twins in the comics. Could be we have Mephisto in there. I'm not saying it's not possible. It could be multiple forces, malevolent forces. It could be Nightmare or Mephisto. There's something going on with Agnes though. I says that in my notes. Weird as hell, that moment when she laughs, you're dead. Just, I feel so bad for Vision. This guy's just the butt of every single joke. You're
dead.
You're dead. I'm glad you're dead. He's just a joke in this. He's getting absolutely rogered left, right and centre, this guy. And of course, no more is that apparent than when he walks beyond the barrier. It was a hard scene to watch. I was scared for the guy. I'm like, don't walk out beyond this barrier. You're going to die. You're going to become a corpse and lie on the ground. But it was even worse than that, Stephen. It was even worse than turning into a corpse. This guy was crumbling.
He was falling apart,
It was torturous. This guy was... I thought we were seeing him dying for a third time.
Yeah, there's something, John, there's something about that character, and there's a deep hatred within the writers. There's got to be... There's something not right there. You know, the way he's been treated has been terrible.
Oh.
You know, and I'm always on his side. You know, since his introduction in Age of Ultron as a physical presence, I've always liked. I always liked Paul Bettany as an actor anyway. But the character is just there's an honesty about him. You know, and there's something humbling about that in that kind of crazy universe of the Marvel, and you know he's very black and white, you know, and
a great dancer.
Yes, I saw that last week, John, that dancing he was doing. And I just felt that we've not really had enough of him at his full powers. I don't think we've seen enough of him. We got a bit of a chunk of him in Age of Ultron. Didn't really do much in what was it? Not Endgame, the one before it, Infinity War. Apart from die,
What
he
a
didn't really
lovey-dovey
know what
moment
to
in
do.
Edinburgh with
Yeah,
Scarlet Witch.
and and it's
Wasn't
just I
Edinburgh,
don't
the
think
movie.
we've seen him at his full sort of capabilities yet. And
And
I hope we do get to see that at some point. I hope some version of him will come back. I don't. This version's done, John.
I don't think so,
He's a
Stephen.
he's a walking corpse.
Yeah. Stephen, I don't think he's even Vision. There you go.
Yeah.
I think he's just some strange creation of Wanda's for this little universe to keep her ticking along to help with her grief. I don't think he's actual Vision from before. He's got no memories of before.
No.
He's a corpse, as we know. He's some strange bastardized version of maybe a sword experiment and Wanda's twisted sort of version of reality that she's creating. I don't think he's Vision. I don't think he's coming back, Stephen. I think he's done and dusted. I thought he would. Maybe 3-4 episodes into this TV show. I think he's done now. I don't see how they can revive this guy and have him come back in the MCU in any meaningful way whatsoever. I think he's dead, and it's going to end really tragically for him and Wanda, because she's going to have to let go of him, and that's going to be a make or break moment for that character. She could either become good again, I say good, she may not even be evil just now, or she could really go off a cliff and become a villain in her own right.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange, it's going to be very interesting to see how Stephen Strange come into this TV show, and he is coming in, how that's going to impact on Wanda's psyche, if you like. Stephen, the end sequence, though, absolutely incredible. When that barrier, the twins as well, we've not even spoke about the twins and their power. There's a little mini Quicksilver there, there's a little sort of Charles Xavier.
Ultron.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Ultron, sorry, Vision.
Yeah,
I think he's. Yeah, you can see the power starting to seep through in the second twin nearer the end, but it's a nice little sort of sequence with the kids having that sort of ability. But I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go with these kids either. To be honest with you, what is the end game here with all of their existence apart from Wanda? We know that obviously she'll carry on, but what's going to happen to the kids? What's going to happen to Vision, as you said, John?
Well,
what's going to happen to the likes of Agnes? Oh, I'm sure we'll get that in the next 3 episodes.
Well, in the comics, the kids die. They get wiped out of existence. But then they subsequently are born again outside of this reality, and they actually live. So time will tell if that happens in the actual MCU. But there's precedent for what happens to the twins. The end sequence, Stephen, her eyes turn red. She starts absolutely destroying everything around about this barrier. It expands out. I loved it. I loved the sequence, the way cars were changing, buildings were changing. The helicopter turns into a balloon, a hot air balloon.
That was brilliant, John. Visually, that was amazing.
It's absolutely stunning, Stephen, and it just once again showcased Wanda Maximoff's power. She is terrifying how strong this character is. And as I says at the start, that barrier didn't stop expanding out. This could cover the entire United States, and we could see some crazy shit leading into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, maybe even Spider-Man 3. I don't know. But it was a great end, Stephen, to the episode. And once again, I've asked the question at the end, where the hell are the Avengers? Why have they not been called? This is an Avengers level event. These guys should be here, man. They're not.
I think it's a control thing at the moment with Sword, and obviously that I can't remember his name now, John. I think it's a control thing for him and probably his ego that he's containing. He's containing it at the moment.
Hayward.
Hayward. I think the fact that it's affecting a town at the moment, it's very low scale for Avengers to be involved in that, to be honest. But I think as it's expanding out, it's getting very serious now. It was serious before, but it's getting very serious now. As you said, that Hex is continuing. It didn't stop at the end of the episode. It was continuing out, and we don't know how far it's going to go. But I think the Avengers, or certain Avengers, will come into it. We know that. We've talked about it. But it was a great sequence, John, and Darcy. Looks like she's going to be in, obviously, the town at some point next week.
And she has information about what the director He's holding a secret. She discovers a secret of his, so she may be armed with that, have a self-awareness within this world, and may be able to impact on what's happening on some level.
Yeah.
It's all fascinating. It didn't end in a happy ending this week, Stephen. It was dark.
No.
And that, I think, is going to be where this TV show is going moving forward into the last 3 episodes. It's going to get darker and darker, and I cannot wait to consume it, man.
Can't wait.
Stephen, that's the final thing I'll say, man. What do you make about this episodic style? Is that something you like? Do you prefer that to the binge? I actually think it adds something, being able to wait a week and just consume it and think over it, and then you're ready to watch the next episode. Is that something you enjoy before we round it up? Because I do.
I think at the moment, during lockdown, John, it suits me. But I think, with The Mandalorian Season 1, I made the mistake of binge watching. And it's a hell of a commitment when you think about it. It's a few hours, 4 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
Something about the anticipation of this television series I like. It leaves you hanging every week. And Mandalorian did that as well to an extent, but there's some sort of self-contained episodes in there as well. There's something about this, and I think it's because of the mystery. We don't really know 100% what's going on. We're only learning every week, and I think that's enough for anyone to intake. Try binge watching this and try and get your head around this in one sitting. Yeah. You'll be doing really good.
Yeah, absolutely, Stephen, and that's why the episodic format works for me, because it allows you to theorise and really delve into that episode before readying yourself for the next one. So I'm glad that they're reigniting that sort of thing from the 90s and stuff like that. It's not binge focused. But look, that's going to round our review of this episode. I've still not got the name of this episode. I think it was something about Halloween. But what was your
Spooktacular?
Spooktacular.
Spooktacular, yeah. Something spectacular, yeah.
Yeah, it was a damn good title. I'm glad they've introduced episodic titles. It was missing in the first 2. What's your thoughts on it, man? How do you rank this in terms of episodes you've seen prior to this? Is this your favourite, like me? How do you make of all these story threads that have been created? Questions, if you like. Will we get the answers?
I'm not sure, John. I think it's kind of evened itself out at the moment with myself, with my watching experience. I don't think it's any better or any worse than the weeks before.
Yeah.
I think it's just got to a point now where the sort of tone of it is changing. It's getting darker now. Sort of fluffy lightness of those first 2 episodes are long gone now. Yeah. And we're getting to the sort of nitty-gritty of the storyline. And the other thing is as well, John, I don't know if you've heard the rumours that the last 3 episodes could be an hour long. I'm not sure.
I hope so. Stephen, that's my one gripe with this. It's just not long enough. You're consuming it and it's gone before you even start to really sell yourself in. It's done. And I hate the fact these credits go on for 10 minutes or something stupid like that.
That does my head in.
It's like, I hope I've got another 20 minutes to go, boom. It's like 10 minutes of credits. It's like, get that. Ridiculous. But look, man, that's going to round it up. I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to play out. I'm looking forward to reviewing the last 3 episodes. You can comment below if you've got anything to say on it, on our review, anything in general. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Hit the follow button on Twitch if you're watching us over there as well. You'll get more content like this every Friday, man. But look, until then, bye-bye.